Hello, kindly settle down. Guests are arriving and they will come in 5 minutes. Please settle down. Kindly settle down. Guests are arriving and they will come in 5 minutes. Please settle down. Kindly settle down. Guests are arriving and they will come in 5 minutes.
I request all the students to kindly maintain silence. अब announce कर दूं, but as they enter, I request all the students and staff to kindly rise when the dignitaries enter and clap for them. Okay? When they enter, kindly rise and clap for them. Dignitaries तो नहीं है. We have among us our ex-principal, Dr. Harish Wankudre sir. Kindly clap for him. Thank you all. Thank you, sir. Kindly be seated. All of you kindly rise and clap.
पंखे बंद करायला सांगितले दोन्ही. बंद कर.
Please be seated, everyone. A very good morning to one and all present here. Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, respected guests, eminent researchers, academicians, industry experts, delegates, faculty members, students, and participants. A warm and gracious welcome to you all. On behalf of Vidyavardhini's College of Engineering and Technology, it gives us Ms. Gloria Colasso,
Dr. Swati Verma, immense pleasure to welcome you to the IEEE International Conference on Communication, Computing, and Emerging Technologies.
This conference serves as a vibrant platform for the exchange of innovative ideas, cutting-edge research, and collaborative thought in the rapidly evolving domains of communication and computing technologies. IC3ET stands as the first international conference of its scale in the Vasai region, with Vidyavardhini's College of Engineering and Technology witnessing distinguished participation from across the globe for its academic and research community. The IC3ET conference is being conducted in the honor of the birth anniversary of our founder president, Shri Bhausai Vartak, and the centenary anniversary of Mai Sahib, Srimati Tarabai Vartak. We are truly honored by your presence. To commence today's proceedings, we shall begin with the traditional lighting of the lamp, symbolizing the dispelling of darkness and the ushering in of knowledge, wisdom, and enlightenment. I kindly invite our honorable dignitaries on the dais to please come forward for the lighting of the lamp. I request Saloni, our student, to recite the Saraswati Vandana.
तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवै सदा वन्दिता सा मा पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा निःशेषजाड्यापहा Thank you.
Thank you. Next, to honor the spirit and heritage of our great state, may I now request everyone to kindly rise for the Rajya Geet.
जय महाराज सिंह गर्जतो शिवशंभू राजा
दरी दरीतून नाद गुंजला महाराष्ट्र माझा
जय महाराष्ट्र माझा गरजा महाराष्ट्र माझा काळ्या छातीवरी कोरली अभिमानाची लेणी
ओलादी मनगटे खेळती खेळ जीव घेणी
दारिद्र्याच्या उन्हात शिजला
निधळाच्या घामाने भिजला
देश गौरवासाठी झिजला दिल्लीचेही दत्तराणी महाराष्ट्र माझा जय महाराष्ट्र माझा गरजा महाराष्ट्र माझा जय जय महाराष्ट्र माझा
Thank you all. Please be seated. It is a moment of immense pride and joy for us as we begin this ceremony. We have with us today a leader who needs no introduction on this soil, Shri Ganesh Nayak, Honorable Minister of Forest, Government of Maharashtra, and Guardian Minister, Palghar District. Also joining us today is a key leader in environmental governance, Shri N.R. Pravin, Honorable Chief Conservator of Forest, Thane Division. Our next guest is a visionary who has spent decades shaping the standards of universities across the globe. We welcome Dr. Carlos Machado, higher education consultant and quality assurance expert from Australia. None of this would be possible without our patrons. We welcome Shri Vikas Vartak, President, Vidyavardhini. Shri Pandurang Naik, Vice President, Vidyavardhini. Shri Hasmukh Shah, Treasurer, Vidyavardhini. It is their commitment to education that has built this very foundation. We now welcome the academic pillar of our institution, our principal, Dr. Rakesh Himte, and our technical program chair, Dr. Thaksen Parvat, for their tireless efforts and meticulous planning in bringing IC3ET 2026 to life. I now request President Shri Vikas Vartak to felicitate our chief guest, Shri Ganesh Nayak, Honorable Minister of Forest, Government of Maharashtra, and Guardian Minister, Palghar District. President Sir, I request you again to felicitate guest of honor, Shri N.R. Pravin, Honorable Chief Conservator of Forest, Thane Division. So I once again request you to felicitate our keynote speaker, Dr. Carlos Machado, Higher Education Consultant and Quality Assurance. Thank you, President, sir. I now request our principal, Dr. Rakesh Himte, to felicitate Shri Vikas Vartak, President of Vidyavardhini. I request Himte sir again to felicitate Shri Pandurang Naik, Vice President, Vidyavardhini. Shri Hasmukh Bhai Shah, Treasurer, Vidyavardhini. Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Thaksin Parvat to felicitate Principal and General Program Chair, Dr. Rakesh Himte. Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Tatvadarshi Nagaralli to felicitate HODIT and Technical Program Chair, Dr. Thaksin Parvat. Thank you, sir. May I now invite the principal of Vidyavardhini's College of Engineering and Technology and General Chair, IC3ET, to deliver the welcome address and share insights on this occasion.
Good morning, Chief Guest of today's function, Honorable Sri Ganesh Ji Naik Sir, Forest Minister, Maharashtra State, and our Guardian Minister of Palghar District. My friend Dr. Carlos Machado is a renowned educationist in European universities. Mr. N.R. Praveen, Chief Conservator of Forest, Thane Division. Our beloved President of Vidyavardhini Trust, Honorable Sri Vikas Ji Vartak Sir. Vice President, Sri Pandurang Ji Naik Sir. Treasurer, Mr. Hasmukh Bhai Shah Sir. All the respected members of the management, invited guests, researchers, faculty members, non-teaching staff, and my dear students. On behalf of Vidyavardhini's College of Engineering and my own behalf, I welcome you all in this inaugural ceremony of IEEE International Conference on Computing, Communication, and Emerging Technologies, ICET 2026. The objective of this conference is to foster the innovation, research, collaborate, and share the research findings in the field of emerging technologies. I am very happy to inform to the dais, we have received 1200 plus research papers across the globe. And special to mention the countries like United States of America, Australia, New Zealand, Peru, Indonesia, Cambodia, and Oman, and our own Bharat, India. So you are witnessing the truly international event. We, Vidyavardhini College of Engineering and Technology, is committed to serve the society by imparting quality technical education. We strive hard to achieve academic excellence, research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. We have a strong research policy, and this ICET 3 IEEE International Conference is the part of our research policy. We are committed at regular interval, we will organize these kind of conferences for sharing the knowledge and the recent advancement in the technology. We have committed for the research proposals. I am again very happy to inform our two research project proposals are being already shortlisted by AICT, and the cost of that project is around 1 crore rupees. We are always promoting our faculty members to go for the higher studies, and 9 faculty members, they conferred with the PhD degree in this year. It is one of the major achievement. We are committed for fostering innovation and entrepreneurship through various government schemes. Through various government schemes like AICT Idea Lab is coming up. The concept of this Idea Lab is to provide the platform to give the guidance, mentorship, and the idea can be converted into a prototype. And we are believing in the collaboration and networking. So Pedialyte Industries, they already the partner in the ICT Idea Lab, and the cost of that lab is around 1.5 crore rupees, and it is for all these people belongs to the society irrespective of the education. We have 5 center of excellence, and 1 more center of excellence is coming. We are believing in the skill development. So we have 5 center of excellence. 1 more skill development is coming in association with Parley Global Technologies. And Parley Global Technologies has already donated the CNC machine with 40 lakhs rupees. And that is the exclusive center of skill development for the students from Palghar, Boisar, Vasai, Virar. So that is one of the greatest initiative. We believe in the outcome-based education for producing engineers and technocrats as per the industry needs. I am very happy to inform to our chief guest and all the dignitaries. One of the student of computer engineering was able to grab the opportunity of placement for 1.06 crore rupees. It is as well as the packages of IITs and NITs. And sir, it is happened in this institution. So we are doing good. We need your blessings. I won't take your much time. We are eagerly waiting to hear the words of wisdom from our guest and chief guest and Carlos and all the dignitaries as per the schedule. I personally request all the participants participate in these 2 days. These 2 days is a learning festival for all of us. We are eagerly waiting to hear the keynote session by Carlos, and all the plenary sessions are being already scheduled as per the plan. So I request everyone do participate and attend the paper presentation for mutual learning. So thank you very much. Once again, I welcome you all and express a sincere gratitude as the head of the institution to our honorable chief guest, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable time and the blessings to this event. I'm also thankful to Dr. Carlos. Yesterday, he took the flight from the Sydney and reaching to Mumbai. And thank you very much for your contribution in this conference. Respected all the members of the management, faculty members for making this event happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating words. I now invite Dr. Thaksen Parvat, HOD IT and Technical Program Chair, IC3ET, to address the audience.
Good morning, all respected dignitaries, delegates, researchers, and attendees. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the inaugural ceremony of International Conference Communication, Computing, and Emerging Trends. We are honored by the presence of our Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Ganeshji Naik Sir, Minister of Maharashtra State. Guest of honor, Dr. Carlos Machado. Our patrons, Sri Vikasji Vartak, President Vidyavardhini, Sri Pandurangji Naik, Vice President, Sri Hasmukh Bhai Shah, Treasurer, Honorable Trustees, and everyone present today. As a technical program chair, I would like to briefly present the conference statistics. The journey of IC3ET began on 7th May 24. We received IEEE approval on July 25. The conference is technically sponsored by IEEE Maharashtra section with support from the IEEE Bombay section interim body. IC3ET covers 6 major tracks: communication, VLSI, computing, AIML, security, automation, and infrastructure, and is being conducted in a hybrid mode, that is both online and offline. We received over 1,200 paper submission from 8 countries, as sir has told, and 14 states from state of India. Countries include Cambodia, Indonesia, Oman, United States, New Zealand. Total number of authors involved in this conference, 2,446. Number of reviewers, 532. National authors are 1014. We received papers from international professionals and independent researchers globally, 33. The percentage wise, we have received 42% papers from Maharashtra, 52% paper from out of Maharashtra, and 6% paper from international. After a rigorous review, 218 papers accepted with the acceptance rate of 18%, 18. The papers, 63 papers will be presented offline and 159 papers will be presented online. The conference features a keynote address, 6 plenary sessions delivered by distinguished experts, and 26 technical presentation sessions chaired by domain experts. I congratulate all the authors and sincerely thank our reviewers, track chairs, and conference chairs for their invaluable efforts. Once again, I warmly welcome you all and wish IC3ET great success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words and for setting the tone for this prestigious conference. It is now my proud privilege to invite the Honorable President of Vidyavardhini's College of Engineering and Technology to address the gathering and share his valuable thoughts on this occasion.
नमस्कार. गुड मॉर्निंग टू वन इन ऑल. आपल्या पालघर जिल्ह्याचे पालकमंत्री आणि नेहमीच आपल्याला सहकार्य करणारे जी गणेशजी नाईक, द चीफ स्पीकर ऑफ द टुडेज फंक्शन कार्लोस मचाडो, माझे सहकारी बबन शेठ नाईक, हसमुख शहा, सगळे मॅनेजमेंटचे मेंबर्स, ट्रस्टीज, dear staff, all the students and persons, the participants who have participated in this function. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you in this international conference on the communication, computing, and emerging technologies. Nowadays, you must have seen that world is changing very fast. About 3-4 days, one new technology has come. And because of new technology, there will be tremendous change in IT field. Means if suppose one country develops one app and it affects all over the world, that app is going to change coding and all these things. Most of the things will be done. Same thing when ChatGPT has come, they had changed our life, everything very differently. Our institution consistently strived for the academics excellence, innovation, and industry-oriented education. We are nurturing engineers. Yes, we are nurturing engineers. They must be getting good salary and all those things. But same time, we are nurturing them for the social things, for the India and all those things. We had received papers for so many countries. Everyone has told it is from Australia, New Zealand, USA, Indonesia, Peru, and Oman. Means we are received sufficient papers. But 3 important aspects. या कॉन्फरन्समधून आम्हाला काय करायचं आहे की आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजन्स आहे, मशीन लर्निंग आहे, इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स आहेत. त्याच्यातून हाऊ सोसायटी विल बी बेनिफिटेड ॲट लार्ज. दॅट इज वन ऑफ आवर मोटो. दुसरा देन सेकंड आवर मोटो is ideas will be floated, and that ideas and research findings will be circulated our all researchers and students. This is the biggest opportunity you will be having. You should have, if you are having your idea and all those things, you can also talk with them and all those things. Then this conference, I must thank the person who has contributed for this conference. I really appreciate, sir, Himte sir, to you, that you had made this event successful. Then then Dr. Thaksen Parvat, Sunaina Jadhav, and our young talented person, Dr. Satya. Sir, he is such a person, whatever work I allot him, he never says no. He does it on his way and he will come with the result. And this type of staff, all the staffs are very devoted. Most of the staff is PhD and those who are not PhD are pursuing PhD. Okay, I am right? So, it's my pleasure to presence, and I will advise all staff, students and researchers to actively participate in this event. 2 days events are there, which is very important. And to students, it will definitely change. And you will learn so many things which are not possible in books and all those things. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating and visionary address. It is always a pleasure listening to you. Our next guest is a visionary in the field of global academia. We welcome Dr. Carlos Machado, a higher education consultant and quality assurance expert associated with the Department of Electronics and Informatics at the Free University of Brussels. With decades of experience, he has been a driving force in shaping international university standards across the globe. Currently, he serves as a key guide for institutions looking to align their technical and higher education systems with international best practices. It is indeed our honor to have you here with us, sir, and I request you to kindly address the audience and share your insights in a few words.
Good morning to everybody. Thank you very much, Dr. Rakesh Himne, for inviting me to be here. Also, I would like to appreciate the assistance and support of the principal, Shri Bikaji Vartak. Sorry for my accent, it's a bit not local. And also, I would like to appreciate the presence of the chief guest, Sristi Ganeshi Naik, for supporting this event likewise. So, I'm honored to address the International Conference on Communication, Computing, and Emerging Technologies and extend my greetings to participants, organizers, and contributors. Having worked across more than 50 countries in higher education development and quality assurance, I have witnessed how conferences like this one serve as catalysts for institutional transformation and research excellence. The convergence of communication technologies, intelligent systems, cybersecurity, and sustainable innovations presents both unprecedented opportunities and critical challenges for academia and industry. The themes addressed in this conference are fundamental, essential to global development, yes. I lost. Securing, and this, well, global development, advancing communication infrastructure, developing secure, intelligent systems, and building sustainable technology ecosystems. These are not merely technical enablers of economic and social progress, particularly for regions modernizing their educational and technological capabilities. So, I commend Vidyavardhini's College of Engineering and Technology for creating this platform with the support of the Institute for Electronics and Electric Engineering, co-sponsorship. I look forward to engaging discussions and the exchange of ideas that will advance our collective understanding of these critical technological domains. And I would like also to tell you a little story, very good story, that is very opportune for this type of events like this conference. And I hope that if you know the story, just helps you also to reflect on that. But it's an old story. It's about the story of a master Zen, like once upon a time, in a remote village in Japan, there was this master Zen that was very famous, and people from different corners, from all the corners of Japan, they went to learn from him. And once, at a particular day, there was one scholar who read a lot of books about Zen. And then he went to one of his lessons, and he wanted to tell all his theories or all his knowledge about the art of Zen. So 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, he attended the class, and he was interrupting, trying to display his knowledge. Until one moment, at a particular moment, the master Zen said, "Okay, stop. You can come tomorrow, and I will invite you for a cup of tea." So the morning after, the academic, the scholar, went to visit the master Zen, and the master Zen offered him a cup of tea. When he was sat down in the chair, the master Zen brought the bottle with warm tea and started pouring over the cup until the cup was full of tea, and started spilling over the table and started spilling over the floor until it stained the robes of the academic. And the academic said, "Stop, stop. You don't see that the cup is full of tea?" And the master Zen said, "Exactly. When you come with an empty cup of tea, then you will be able to learn the art of master Zen." So the story here, basically, is that we need to come to this type of events, which is an opportunity not to display our knowledge, but to come with an open mind, to listen, to have new knowledge and new learning experiences. So I hope this will be useful for you and all the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carlos, for your thought-provoking address. Your experience and guidance give us great foundation to build upon. Ladies and gentlemen, we are immensely honored to have amongst us a prominent leader of Maharashtra's political landscape, Shri Ganesh Naik, Honorable Minister of Forest, Government of Maharashtra. A leader of the masses, Naik Sahib has dedicated over 4 decades to public service, from serving as a Thane Guardian Minister to his role in labor, excise, and environment. His career has been defined by a deep commitment to governance and community development. He is a visionary architect behind the modern development of Navi Mumbai. Through his famous Janta Darbars, he has maintained an unparalleled connection with the citizens. Beyond politics, he is a man who truly cares for his people. In recognition of this, he was honored with the prestigious Maharashtra Gaurav Award, one of the highest honors in our state. So your presence today is a great source of motivation for our institution. I now respectfully invite our honorable chief guest, Shri Ganesh Naik, to share his words of wisdom.
भारत माता की वंदे. विद्यावर्धिनी कॉलेज ऑफ इंजिनिअरिंग अँड टेक्नॉलॉजी वसई आयोजित कम्युनिकेशन कॉम्प्युटिंग इमर्जिंग टेक्नॉलॉजी या विषयावरील आंतरराष्ट्रीय परिषद या ठिकाणी संपन्न होत असताना उपस्थित माननीय श्री विकासजी वर्तक या संस्थेचे प्रमुख, आज ऑस्ट्रेलियामधून आलेले डॉक्टर कार्लोस बाचाडो, प्रोफेसर फ्री युनिव्हर्सिटी ब्रुसेल बेल्जियम, श्री एन आर प्रवीण, चीफ कॉन्झर्वेटर ऑफ फॉरेस्ट ठाणे डिव्हिजन, पांडुरंग नाईक म्हणजे आमचे बबन नाईक व्हाईस प्रेसिडेंट, हसमुखबाई शाह ट्रेझरर, डॉक्टर राकेश हिमटे प्रिन्सिपल विद्यावर्धिनी, डॉक्टर ठकसेन पर्वत टेक्निकल प्रोग्राम चेअर, उपस्थित सर्व संस्थेचे पदाधिकारी, प्राध्यापक आणि उपस्थित विद्यार्थी बंधू भगिनींनो, खरं म्हणजे जग गतीनं नवीन विषयाच्या अनुषंगानं नवीन तंत्रज्ञानाच्या अनुषंगानं जवळ येत चाललेलं आहे आणि जगातलं कुठलंही ज्ञान कोणालाही उपलब्ध व्हावं अशा प्रकारची परिस्थिती निर्माण झालेली आहे. आता या संस्थेच्या विषयी बोलताना एक निश्चितपणे नमूद करावं लागेल की त्यावेळेला इतक्या अशा प्रकारची काही वस्ती नव्हती आणि अशा प्रकारचं एकूण साधनं पण नव्हती. त्यावेळेला भाऊसाहेब वर्तकांनी या संस्थेला जन्म दिला. त्यांच्याबरोबर अनेक सहकारी होते, विविध जातीचे धर्माचे लोक पण होते. पुढच्या कालखंडामध्ये तारामाई वर्तकांनी सुद्धा या संस्थेला एक आकार देण्याचा प्रयत्न केला आणि आज श्री विकासजी वर्तक यांच्या नेतृत्वाखाली ही संस्था अतिशय प्रगतिशील काम करत आहे. आज जो कम्युनिकेशन कॉम्प्युटिंग आणि इमर्जिंग टेक्नॉलॉजी ह्या विषयावर विविध देशातल्या विद्यार्थ्यांनी, प्रामुख्यानं महाराष्ट्रातल्या 50% विद्यार्थ्यांनी, देशातल्या अनेक विद्यार्थी आणि देशाबाहेरच्या विद्यार्थ्यांनी आपले पेपर्स पाठवलेले आहेत. म्हणजे जगातल्या विविध देशातल्या लोकांनी सुद्धा वसईच्या ह्या विद्यावर्धिनी कॉलेजच्या या उपक्रमाला निश्चितपणे साथ दिलेली आहे आणि त्याच्यात सहभाग नोंदवलेला आहे. मी एकच सांगेन की शेवटी जीवनाचा अर्थ समजून घेतला पाहिजे. मी आज जो आलो ना ते एक टेक्निकल नॉलेज मला काय नाही आहे, हे सगळे टेक्निकल लोक ते सांगतील, पण जीवनाचा अर्थ मी सांगू शकतो. आय एम सक्सेसफुल इन माय लाईफ. आर यू ॲग्री विथ मी? सी वन थिंग इज देअर, समवन मस्ट अंडरस्टँड व्हॉट इज मिनिंग ऑफ लाईफ. जीवनाचा अर्थ समजून घेताना जीवन हे 4 टप्प्यामध्ये विभागलेलं आहे. बालपण, तारुण्य, प्रौढत्व आणि ज्येष्ठत्व. आता मी ज्येष्ठत्वाच्या सीमेला आहे. आय क्रॉस 75. मिस्टर कार्लोस, आय एम 75+. ओके, सो सेंटर आयडिया शुड दॅट लिव्ह अँड लेट लिव्ह. जिओ और जिने दो, जगा आणि दुसऱ्याला जगू द्या. हे जीवनाचा मूलमंत्र असला की माणूस जीवन जगताना फार आनंदात जगतो. फार पैसे लागतात का जगण्यासाठी? मी तुम्हाला विद्यार्थ्यांना विचारतो, इज देअर रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ ह्यूज अमाऊंट ऑफ मनी? इज देअर? डेफिनेटली. कोणाला श्रीमंत होण्याची धारणा असेल त्याने श्रीमंत व्हायला पाहिजे, परंतु आपल्या घामातून, कष्टातून, आपल्या हिमतीतून व्हायला पाहिजे. दुसऱ्याला चिटिंग लुटिंग करून समाजातलं असलेलं साधनं दुबली करून एखादा माणूस मोठा होणार असेल तो तात्पुरता मोठा होतो, लॉंग त्याचा पिरियड राहत नाही. आता पाप पुण्य ह्या गोष्टीत तुमचा विश्वास आहे का? आहे. म्हणजे आपण आपल्या मराठी भाषेत म्हणजे आपण देव मानणारे आणि देव न मानणारे. आता आपण 99% लोक देव मानणार आहेत, म्हणजे देवाची भीती तरी असतात. कायद्याची भीती लोकांना नाही राहिली का? कायद्यामध्ये पलवाटा काढता येतात. वर्तक साहेब काय बोलतो मी, दुनियाभरचे वकील पैसे देऊन एक वकील एकेका केस अर्ध्या तासाची लढण्याकरता 10-15 लाख रुपये घेतात. गोरगरिबांना मिळेल का हे? नाही. गरिबांचा राहिला का? मग 10-15 लाख रुपये अर्ध्या तासाचे घेणारे वकील गोरगरिबांना उपलब्ध होऊ शकत नाहीत. आणि म्हणून मॉरॅलिटी इज अ बेस ऑफ द लाईफ. नैतिकता जर माणसाच्या मध्ये नसेल तर माणूस कितीही मोठा झाला त्याचा टावर कोलॅप्स व्हायला वेळ लागणार नाही. आणि मी आत्मविश्वासानं सांगतो, मी माझ्या आयुष्यामध्ये मी मेंटली फिट राहिलो, फिजिकली फिट राहिलो, सोशली, पॉलिटिकली आणि गरजे एवढा इकॉनॉमिकली. काय बोललो मी? इट इज माय रिक्वायर्ड, आय एम हॅविंग दॅट मनी. बाब असे की जी माणसं स्वतःच्या भावाची सुद्धा पर्वा न करता भावाला लुटतात. ऐकतात का ना तुम्ही? काकाने फसवलं, मामाने फसवलं, का नाही ऐकतात तुम्ही? पार्टनरला फसवलं, ॲग्रीमेंट केलं, बीच ऑफ ट्रस्ट सगळा आटोपला आणि बंगले बांधले, घोडे घेतले, गाड्या घोड्या इम्पोर्टेड सगळ्या घेतल्या. ज्या लोकांच्या आयुष्यामध्ये त्यांनी खेळ केला त्या लोकांची परवड झाली. स्ट्रेसमध्ये येऊन त्या लोकांनी आत्महत्या केली किंवा तो एकूण हार्ट अटॅकने निघून गेला. आणि ज्याला याला पश्चाताप होतो की बा मी चूक केली, तोपर्यंत बिचारा तो निघून गेलेला असतो. आणि नंतर मग पश्चाताप करण्याशिवाय गत्यंतर नसते. मोक्ष मुक्ती हे शब्द ऐकलात का तुम्ही? मोक्ष काय बोलतो म्हणजे स्वर्गामध्ये जायला मिळणं. आणि आता हेल अँड हेवन. आता प्रत्येकाला हेवनमध्येच म्हणजे हेवनमध्ये जायची इच्छा असते. हेलमध्ये कोण जायची इच्छा प्रगट करत नाही. परंतु परिस्थिती तुम्ही जर निर्माण केलेली असेल, तुम्ही जर स्वार्थाने वागला असाल, अविचाराने वागला असाल, तर तुम्ही किती प्रयत्न करा, देवाला नंतर तुम्ही हार तुरे द्या, नवस बोला, देव ते ऐकत नाही. तुमच्या आयुष्यामध्ये शेवटी तुमच्या कर्माची फलं तुम्हाला भोगावी लागतात. आर यू ॲग्री विथ मी? आणि जी माणसं दुसऱ्याला लिव्ह अँड लेट लिव्ह, दुसऱ्याचं जीवन जगण्याकरता मदत करतात किंवा ॲटलिस्ट मदत नाही केली तर हरकत आहे, त्याला अडथळे निर्माण करत नाहीत, अशा लोकांचं जीवन सुखर होतं. कधी कधी हरामाचा पैसा कमवलेल्या लोकांना AC मध्ये घाम फुटतो. कधी कुठे? AC मध्ये. आता वर्तक साहेब हसतात बघा. आणि जी लोक आत्मविश्वासानं चाललेली असतात, दुसऱ्याला समजून उमजून चाललेली असतात, ही धर्म, जात, पंथ, वर्ण, वर्ग हे देवाने बनवलेत का? टेल मी. ही सगळी माणसांनी धर्म, जात, पंथ, भाषा हे माणसाने स्वतःकरता बनवलेलं आहे. आणि अशा ह्या परिस्थितीमध्ये धर्माच्या नावाने भिंती, जातीच्या नावाने भिंती, भाषेच्या नावाने भिंती, शेजारचा कोण माझ्या जातीचा नाही, माझ्या धर्माचा नाही, माझ्या गावचा नाही, माझा शिवचा नाही, म्हणजे परकेपणा वाटायला सुरुवात होते का नाही? हे अशा वातावरणामध्ये तुम्हाला आनंद वाटतो का? आय एम कॉलिंग स्टुडंट्स, आर यू हॅपी विथ इट? आणि म्हणून लक्षात आलं की जीवन जगायचं असेल तर माणसानं माणसावर माणूस म्हणून प्रेम करा. त्याचा धर्म, जात, पंथ बघू नका. गुड क्वालिटीज असतील तर त्या माणसाला तुम्ही आपलं करा. आपला स्वतःच्या धर्माचा, जातीचा, पंथाचा, नात्यागोत्याचा असेल पण नालायक असेल तर त्याचं गुणगान करायचं नाही. त्याला सुधारण्याचा प्रयत्न करायचा, पण नाही सुधारला तर त्याला आयसोलेटेड करून टाकायचं. आज मी आलो ह्या टेक्नॉलॉजीचं काम ते दुसरे करतील. मी तुम्हाला ह्या गोष्टी सांगायला आलो आहे. मी माझ्या जीवनामध्ये सक्सेसफुल आहे. तर तुम्ही सगळे आता त्याला आधुनिक विचारसरणीचे विद्यार्थी आहात. मी माझ्या आयुष्यामध्ये पॉलिटिकली, सोशली आणि इकॉनॉमिकली सुद्धा मी सक्सेसफुल आहे. फॉर युअर इन्फॉर्मेशन, धीरूभाई अंबानी वॉज माय फ्रेंड, मुकेश अंबानी इज माय फ्रेंड, अनंत अंबानी इज माय फ्रेंड, गौतम अदानी इज ऑल्सो माय फ्रेंड. आय हॅव गॉट फ्रेंडशिप विथ ऑल इंडस्ट्रीज. परंतु त्याच्यामध्ये क्रिकेटच्या लोकांशी माझी दोस्ती आहे, ॲक्टर लोकांशी. सलमान खानला लोक सलमान गाडीत असेल तर हात करतात ना, मी गाडीत असेल सलमान माझ्याशी हात मिळवतो. हा फरक आहे. आणि ते काय गणेश नाही का फार म्हणजे चाकू, सूर्य, तलवार, भालेबरच्या पैसेवाला म्हणून नाही. तुम्ही तुमच्या जीवनाची विचारसरणी अशी ठेवा की सर्वांना तुमच्या विचारसरणीसमोर नतमस्तक व्हायला लागेल. पैशासमोर, गुंडागर्दी, दादागिरीसमोर नाही. आणि ते शस्त्र नाही. जगाच्या पाठीवर प्रेमाचं शस्त्र, हे शस्त्र जगाच्या पाठीवर अनन्यसाधारण शस्त्र आहेत. चाकू, सुरी, तलवार, भालेबरच्या, न्यूक्लिअर बॉम्ब वगैरे हे आहेत, परंतु त्याने तुम्हाला जगाच्या पाठीवर राज्य करता येणार नाही. जगाच्या पाठीवर राज्य करायचं असेल ते प्रेमाचं शस्त्र आहे. वर्तक साहेब, तुम्ही मला आज बोलवलं, विद्यार्थ्यांशी बरोबर हितगुज करायची मला संधी दिली, त्याबद्दल मी तुमचा पहिला आभारी आहे. भविष्य काळामध्ये काय अडचण आली, देर इज नो प्रॉब्लेम. यू चेंज द अँगल, चेंज द चॅनल, चेंज द लेवल. ह्या 3 गोष्टी तुम्ही बदला. प्रत्येक गोष्टीचा सोल्युशन बाजूला असतो. जगाची समस्या निर्माण होण्यापूर्वी त्याचं सोल्युशन बाजूला असतं. प्रत्येक येणारं संकट तुम्हाला आजमावायला असतं. संकट आलं, काही समस्या आली तर घाबरून जायचं नाही. अतिशय धीरोदात्तपणानं, संयमानं त्याला सामोरे जायचं, त्याच्यातून मार्ग निघतो. आणि जर कोणाला काय अडचण असेल तर गणेश नाईकला तुम्ही कॉन्टॅक्ट करा. गणेश नाईक इज इन युअर सर्व्हिस ऑलवेज. जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र.
Dhanyavad Sahib. We express our sincere gratitude to the Honorable Ganesh Ji Naik for gracing this inauguration. Sir, your commitment to the development of the region is truly inspiring, and your presence today has made this occasion very special. We have come to the most awaited moment. May I request our dignitaries to do the honors and officially release the proceedings. Let us have a round of applause. I now request our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Ganesh Naik, to declare the conference open.
I declare that IC3ET Ieee Conference is open.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Sunaina Jadhav, VCET IEEE Student Branch Counselor and Technical Program Co-Chair, to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Respected chief guest, dignitaries on and off the dais, esteemed speakers, faculty members, IC3ET team members, delegates, and dear participants. As we conclude the inaugural function of the International Conference on Communication, Computing, and Emerging Technologies, IC3ET 2026, it gives me immense pleasure and a deep sense of gratitude to present the vote of thanks to all those who have contributed to the effective planning and successful execution of this conference. At the outset, we express our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Sri Ganesh Naik, Honorable Minister of Forest, Government of Maharashtra, and Guardian Minister of Palghar District for graciously accepting our invitation and honoring us with his august presence. Our respectful gratitude is extended to Sri N.R. Praveen, Chief Conservator of Forest, Thane Division, for his inspiring presence and valuable guidance. We are deeply obliged to our eminent keynote speaker, Dr. Carlos Machado, for his insightful and thought-provoking address, which added significant academic value to the conference. We express our sincere gratitude to our President, Sri Vikas Vartak, for his visionary leadership, constant encouragement, and unwavering support in organizing this international IEEE conference. We are equally thankful to our Vice President Sri Pandurang Naik and Treasurer Sri Hasmukhbhai Shah for their continuous motivation and vision that drive us forward. I would like to thank IEEE Maharashtra section for their continuous support throughout. Our heartfelt thanks goes to our principal, Dr. Rakesh Himte, for his guidance, motivation, and strong administrative support, which played a vital role in the successful execution of the conference. We are also grateful to Sri Vishal Save, Joint Director, and Sri Parag Patil, Registrar, for their valuable administrative assistance and cooperation. We place on record our sincere appreciation to the Technical Program Chair, Dr. Parvat, and Technical Program Co-Chair, Dr. Tatvadarshi, for designing and managing a high-quality technical program. We also thank all the track chairs and co-chairs for efficiently coordinating their respective tracks and ensuring the smooth conduct of the technical sessions. We extend our gratitude to the review chair, publicity chair, organizing chair, registration chair, sponsorship chair, and hospitality chair for their dedicated efforts, seamless coordination, and excellent support throughout the conference. We extend our heartfelt appreciation to all our eminent plenary speakers for sharing their expertise, experiences, and global perspectives. Our sincere thanks go to the technical program committee members, reviewers, session chairs, and advisory committee members for their dedicated efforts in upholding the highest academic standards. A special word of thanks to Mr. Monik Kaule for his exceptional and outstanding branding of the conference across all platforms. We also thank the head of departments, deans, teaching and non-teaching faculty, the entire organizing committee, inaugural and technical team, and student volunteers for their tireless efforts and commitment. I would like to conclude with the hope that IC3ET 2026 leaves all of us with invaluable sights that continue to inspire future research, collaboration, and innovation. Once again, I thank you, each one of you, for being an integral part of this remarkable academic journey. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. To conclude our inauguration ceremony, may I request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem. As our dignitaries on the dais have some prior engagements and further commitments, they have to take the leave from the auditorium. I request the students and staff to kindly keep standing as our dignitaries take our leave. Student volunteers, please look into the discipline. Students, I request everyone to be quiet and please remain seated. Students at the back. I request Dr. Tatwadarshi Nagarali, Head of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science, and the Technical Program Co-Chair, to introduce our keynote speaker.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. It is indeed a pleasure to introduce Dr. Carlos Machado. He is a higher education consultant and quality assurance expert associated with the Department of Electronics and Informatics at the Free University of Brussels, Belgium. Dr. Carlos is an international project consultant, external evaluator, and educational advisor with extensive experience in higher education, internationalization, capacity building, and sustainable development. Since January 2024, he has been actively involved with Erasmus-funded projects such as EcoVIP, which focuses on fostering innovation and entrepreneurship in ecotourism to support sustainable tourism development in Vietnam and the Philippines. And also, uh, Unication, which is aimed at strengthening international cooperation and enhancing the competencies of higher education international office staff in Cambodia and the Philippines. His work includes project coaching, formation evaluation, and external audits across multiple international initiatives. Dr. Carlos is also a published researcher with contributions in journals such as Higher Education in Russia and the International Journal of Business Ethics and Governance, addressing vocational education, entrepreneurship ecosystems, and education reforms. His recognition includes the Bolshak Scholarship and the Erasmus Mundus Fellowship, reflecting his sustained impact in global education and development. Again, I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Carlos, and I request him to continue with the presentation. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. So, sorry for the delay. As usual, when you are dealing with technologies, you can always expect the something will happen because normally technologies are not totally 100% under our control. Just like a brief introduction, when we are dealing with technologies, there are very different ways to approach them. And you have specialists that can focus on technologies from different angles and from different specialities. You can have software engineers, computer engineers. Now you have mechatronics, so you mix mechanics with electronics. You have civil engineering that also they introduce new technologies for different applications. And now we are talking about artificial intelligence, agentic artificial intelligence in like closed setups. My specialty, when I started doing research, it was in educational technologies. Also, that was a branch of technology. Now it's very commonly known as EdTech. I heard, well, I guess you heard about the term EdTech. And when I was coming here, I just realized that I got my PhD 20 years ago, in 2006. Now we are in 2026. So I was doing my PhD about e-readiness. So e-readiness is about how e-learning or new technologies are introduced into higher education and how well prepared institutions, higher education institutions, at that time were ready to adapt new technologies. So there were different factors, but it was an emerging topic, research topic. And I just thought, well, that's a good topic for the conference, because in 20 years, we could see a drastic evolution in the use of new technologies for education. Do you agree? So just like illustration, this is the global landscape of and the relevance of the business that is involved in educational technologies. It's foreseen that for 2030 already there will be more than 1 trillion revenues provided from educational technologies. So e-learning, digital learning, all these applications that are very familiar, mobile learning, etc. One of the reasons, obviously, is because not because companies are investing more in edtech, that is one of them, but also because as countries, they are emerging and being enriched and developing faster, also there are more population that have access to these new technologies. So they are more ubiquitous in the globe. So still you have research, and there is still like a digital divide between especially Africa and other countries, but the amount of students accessing to new technologies, digital technologies mainly now, is increasing considerably. So you see that by 2050, already in 2020 there were 7.88 billion of people, and you see the percentages of students that would be more than 640 million. They were participating in post-secondary education, and that will increase to nearly 1 billion of students by 2050 that will have access to these technologies. You can also see the different types of gadgets that are being used. Now we are talking about education 4.0, and this is equivalent to industry. You have industry 1.0, you have the second revolution, the third revolution that was the internet in the 80s. Now you have the fourth revolution, that is all these intelligent systems applied to automation, manufacturing, etc. But this also has happened in education. So when I started my research, it was the first time, and now it looks like very, very long time ago, but in fact it's not that much. In just 20 years, when I was doing my research, we have a computer, yes. It was not this Macintosh, it was a bit more developed, but still we have like CDs. They started the USBs, we started using the USBs, and many people, they lost a lot of data, or sometimes you did something wrong, and where is my data, my research? I lost one of chapters of my research at that time. And then they started coming the iPads to classrooms, especially also in UNICEF. There were donors that they were trying to bring all these iPads to remote villages in Africa, in Asia, and there were no mobile phones by that time. We didn't have a smartphone, sorry. We started having mobile phones, but not a smartphone, so it was only for calling, and then started the BlackBerry. I don't know if you are familiar with that. It's really old, BlackBerries, but it was just for messaging. So there were very little educational applications at that time. Only apart from the education, from the 80s, and I would say like from the 90s, because of the introduction of new technologies in the classroom, we start changing the approach to learning. So for me, it's very important to understand that these two elements are very much connected: learning, teaching, and technologies. And what happened is, thanks to the push of new technologies as a new way for learning, we start transitioning, at least in Western countries. There were different transitioning and phases in different countries due to infrastructure and other reasons. But what happened is that we started, the more flexible we were, the more we transitioned from what we call teacher-centered oriented education to student-centered oriented education. So before, in the 80s, and traditionally, the most important aspect for learning was knowledge. So to remember, to memorize, to be able to identify, to define things, but that was knowledge. It was nothing about application, nothing about synthesis. You didn't have case studies. It was, you have an exam, you have your handbook, and you need to memorize, because in the exam there will be a specific question and it's just writing. I have that type of exams. I don't know how it is here now, but when I was studying, was doing my bachelor, it was reading. I had to read a lot of books, and it was memorizing, and then you have fixed questions, and you just need to remember what the teacher said and what was written in certain section or certain chapter of the books. Now, think about what you are going to see about knowledge, and if that is most important for learning. You see that picture, that video? It's a video. That is my daughter when she was 2 years old. Now she's 5. She was 2 years old. I didn't tell her anything. I didn't teach her anything about how to seat your belt. You are in the airplane, she's in the airplane. Let's see if voila, she knew how to do it. I'm surprised 20 years after, well, how many times you are hearing or they are teaching you how to seat your belt in the airplanes? How many times? Every single flight you take? Yes? They tell you, and now in the airplane, they show you the seat belt, they say, now you have to pull here, press here. My daughter, she didn't speak. She doesn't understand the stewardess. She knew how to do it alone. What does it tell you? Should we emphasize knowledge as a way of learning? Should we repeat every time the same thing for 20 years, how to press your seatbelt? Or maybe we need to approach things in a different way. But see it alone, just observation. Oh, it's easy, I can do it myself. She didn't speak one single word when she was, but nothing more. Okay, so there was this phase that there was very much emphasis in the classroom on knowledge. And we start introducing technologies, and then we pass from the promise of using these technologies to the practice, and that was more or less, I would say, between the period of 2005 to 2019. So I will put you another video.
Technology in the classroom has certainly changed. There was a time when this simple overhead projector was cutting edge. And this, a basic copy machine, and even this VCR. Originally, it was all about how you present information.
What I done? Sorry. What happened here? Why stop?
It entered the mouse.
Technology in the classroom has certainly changed. There was a time when this simple overhead projector was cutting edge. And this, a basic copy machine, and even this VCR. Originally, it was all about how you present information. But now, it's all about how you access information. Thanks to the internet and technology, you can make active learning interactive learning and create almost anything. You could share your ideas instantly with millions or collaborate with your peers and colleagues. You can share thoughts, links, and pictures with people in your own social network, and you could even create a movie and share it with the entire world. It's amazing to look back and see how far technology in the classroom has come, and it's so exciting to look into the future and see where we're going. No one knows for sure, but the one thing I can guarantee you is that this is just the beginning.
So I put some short videos to stress my message, and also it's nice not to hear me all the time. So let's rewind like 15, 20 years ago, when I was doing my research, and until this period of 2019. So there was different research, and there was this picture that educational technology was at the cusp of transformation. You could see that it was changing the educational landscape. And then there were fast trends, for example, Facebook and social media, which didn't exist so much before, that start growing in trend. And also, Facebook was starting being introduced in the classroom. And then what happened is that the teachers at that time, like 15 years ago, they start trying to rethink about their model of teachers. So before they were just the teacher, unilateral message, a normal lecture, the seats there, the students there, it was unilateral. There was not bidirectional or even what we call now flip classroom. So the teacher gives some assignment and then the students prepare and there is a discussion in the classroom afterwards. So by that time, there was this shift in the paradigm of the teacher from just like transmitter of knowledge to a coach, to a facilitator, rather than lecturers. And then also what happened at that time is that you start having Moodle. I introduced in one of my projects in 2007 for the first time the platform, Moodle platform in Central Asia. That didn't exist before there. So we have projects financed by the European Union and we introduced Moodle platform, and that was also part of my thesis to see how the students would adapt to these new methods or learning processes. And then you start having what we call open educational resources. You know about this term? Have you heard about open educational resources? Yes, no? Basically, it's like MOOCs. When you have public access to certain resources, open, you have open sources. So the community, software community, you can have a learning management system, and if it's open, different softwares and software specialists, they could help to improve for free because of their common interest, certain kind of learning management system or certain kind of learning platform. Then you have the private ones. You have like WebCT, Blackboard, even Moodle. You pay licenses as well. You can have the free versions, but you have the premium versions and for a large audience and a large number of users. And then also what happened at that time is that you start having hybrid, blended, what we call blended learning. So a mix of lectures, but then you might have, or with the Moodle, the teachers start putting like videos or putting additional resources that you will have access to that learning platform. You are doing that now? You have just the traditional method of teaching learning, or you have hybrid? How is it here? Hybrid. So there, what happened was this evolution of online learning and data-driven assessment. So we have, well, that is a graph that you see the different trends that was expected. This was already by 2015, and the different challenges that they were facing at that time. Like, for example, how to support complex thinking and communication, how to transform also the students, not only the teachers, but the students as co-designers of learning. That's where I talk about the flipped classrooms. So it's not the teacher who distributes knowledge to the students. The teachers can also learn from the students, especially at university level. So there is this dual interaction. It's not a monologue, now it's a dialogue between a student and teachers. But of course, at that time there was also difficult challenges because you have to create also authentic learning opportunities. Then, for example, in United Nations or the European Union, they conceive what is the most important for the 21st century. And this is the skills that should be reflected in education. So you have critical thinking, like information and discovery, problem solving, systems thinking. You have collaboration, leadership, flexibility in learning approaches, constructive feedback, that it can be peer-based, not only from the teacher, but also I had several courses that students, they have to also give feedback to the essay or to the assignment that was given by the teacher. So there is a community of practice, a community of learning. Then communication. Now, in many of the courses, if you want to get a job, for many, jobs that require contact with other people, very important soft skills, communication skills, effective listening. I mentioned before leadership, oral presentation. So now it's very common that you need to present, like I'm doing here now. You also need to do it in the classroom. 20 years ago, that was not so normal. It was different. Engaging in discussions and communicating in different environments. And then also another very important 21st century skills are the creativity. So like how to create ideas, how to design ideas. So you have also like a lab, sometimes you call it a smart cafes, or you can call it Crea Labs. In many of the projects that I participated and I helped to develop, that was the goal, because the projects were related to increasing entrepreneurial skills. And for that, you need different settings in the classrooms. Even the chairs are not just looking at me. You have, if you look for smart classrooms, and there are many companies that they are dedicated to design spaces and even the materials for the classroom, the blackboards or things, or the whiteboards. You provide flexibility, so sometimes they can be circle, sometimes they can be an heptagon. You change if you change the space and the physicality of the classroom, you can change also the dynamics in the classroom. Have you thought about that? If you just have this setting, and I'm here, and I want to have like a collaborative assignment, how you do it? You just talk with the one next to you. But it's very impractical, right? Now, if you have a setting in a classroom that you can modify things, then you can also do different type of interesting experiments in terms of how people, students and teachers interact with each other. So now the challenge, the trick is that how to enhance these four main clusters of skills that are very important for the time that we are living with the existing learning models. Theory, I know students are not very much interested, they prefer practice, but that was the basis when I was doing my PhD. So there was somebody called David Kolb in 1984 that defined like a circular approach to learning. And what he identified, it was that there were 4 types of learning styles. So not all the students learn the same way. Some students, they need more support from the teacher. Others are more independent. Others are more curious. They learn more by assignments that, for example, they need to solve problems. So in general, different research came with a theory or kind of typology of 4 learning styles. So in Kolb's learning style theory, he conceived it like a learning, like a cyclical process. So you start from concrete experience to reflective observation, to abstract conceptualization, and to active experimentation. And then after that, in the 90s, mid-90s, 1992, 1993, there were 2 other authors, Honey and Manford, that what they did was for every kind of cycle in David Kolb's, about these 4 styles, they identify a clear learning styles. So they call them activists, reflectors, theorists, and pragmatists. But the philosophy was the same. The difference is that one of the critiques for Kolff, it was that it was seen like a linear model, which it doesn't correspond to reality sometimes. So it was overly simplistic and didn't, well, that was part of the critics, and also that didn't adequately capture the complexity of the learning process. Now, based on this second model of Honey and Manford, what happened is that for every learning style, we need to see how the use of different technologies could be used to maximize or to create a more efficient learning process for students. So depending on the typology, then you could use through new technologies different tools. So you will have an environment that could be divided in affective, symbolic, perceptual, or behavioral, and then the activities would be different. For example, what I find very interesting is that my daughter in Australia starts kindergarten this year, and they have 4 groups: the blue, the red, the yellow, and the green. Like this, they have like a big color at the entrance. They did, when they were recruiting them or selecting them, they were doing certain type of tests, cognitive tests with them. So they have 4 classrooms, and in every classroom, I didn't ask, but that's my intuition, they try to, the teachers are different. For teachers, I know that they are different. So they try to put students together in function of the learning style that they have, or kind of, you can see if one is more active or one is more shy. So you know that you will need different type of approach in teaching with them. And then, so from these 4 styles, also what we increase is with the new technologies. There was like a framework that was created also in 2015, and we see that you have also different ways of learning that then you can adapt to each learning style. This is not so easy in reality, but I know that there are research conducted to see what is the most efficient way for students to learn. So you have learning by exploring, learning by creating, learning by playing, self-regulated learning, personalized learning, and peer-to-peer collaboration. I was explaining a little bit before. Now, what happened by 2019 is that also you start having emphasis on other new technologies that I don't know if you have used, like virtual reality or augmented reality. Have you used that anytime? Have you, by any chance, see what is, for example, putting the glasses, virtual reality glasses, and see a scenario? Have you used it for learning? Yes? Some of you? I was also involved in a couple of projects. It was in vocational education in Kazakhstan. And especially that is very interesting because they are used, as for example, for safety and security. So before going to the company or to the enterprise, for example, like in mechatronics or it was other sorts of engineering. So you see the kind of activities that you need to do before going to the workplace. And then by the time you arrive to the workplace, you already know what kind of safety measures you need to put in place. So that was very interesting. And then also what we've seen already by 2019 is that the market growth for all these type of new technologies, the projections, is that it went up to 370 billion of US dollars, and many universities starting also getting closer with industry, and even industry, Google and other of the tech giants, even Facebook, Meta, they are trying to have also their input and initiatives in the educational technology and having their Google Classrooms and things like this. So I will put you another video, because what happened in 2019, 2020 that changed the way we use technologies? Why I put 2019 like the COVID? The COVID. What produced the COVID? Work from home, study from home. So what it did is to accelerate the use of the new technologies. That's not publicity of a company, but this is about extended reality. So it's like a new frontier. But looking ahead, some of researchers, like Kimons, that he had this model with the 4 environments that I talked before, what he saw is that after the COVID, with the stress, well, sometimes like necessity, you could not go leave your room, or you could not leave your house. In some countries were more strict than in others, like Australia was really bad. Luckily, I was not there by then. I was in Switzerland, so I could go and walk around and no problem. But there was a problem related to equity, and there was not everybody also in terms of equity. I told you that there were different, like 40 types of style of learning. Do you think that the impact of online learning, like unique way of teaching learning, was good for everybody? Or you think some people adapted and some people couldn't cope? What do you think? Question? Answer? Think. You think everybody impacted online learning in the same way? Or you think for some it was positive and for others was very negative? Second. Yeah, so not everybody benefited from that, in fact. Because some people, as I mentioned before with this model, some people, they need more human interaction to understand things. So the communication, even in many cases, people didn't have the infrastructure. They couldn't pay the data or the access to internet. So what do you do in those cases? You can have asynchronous mode, but that was also a problem. Not everybody have access to the technology. That created inequalities of access. So that was one of the problems. Then also another problem that started appearing was, I think, related to the ethics of learning. So I think if you have online exams, probably would be easier to cheat than if you are in the classroom. So now the expectations is that by 2030, this extended reality, artificial intelligence, could make learning fully immersive, but the key to that is the inclusion. Can they create inclusive environments? So here they need a very strong dialogue between pedagogues, academics, technologists, engineers. And also, now we see that many emerging countries, they have higher percentage of smartphone penetration. And what we can see is that what we call it mobile or macro learning will dominate. So more people will tend to use mobile phones for learning processes. But this can also create indigenous gaps. So not all segments of populations might benefit from that. At the end, these different groups, like I said, technologies, engineers, academics, they really need to work like in a Formula One. Have you seen this video that I think it was in 2011, or there was this Ferrari, and they put the wheels together like they have the record in like 2.1 seconds. It was amazing. There is a video in YouTube that you see how well they were synchronized. So in educational technology, I think the same. You need very good synchronization between all these specialists. And this also modified the type of learning models. And now, for example, what we have is something that is called TPAC. So it's like a technology integration framework that identifies 3 types of knowledge instructors need to be combined for successful educational technology integration. So you have the technological content, the pedagogical content, and then you have also the field of study content, which is also can be also look at that. And right now, with the digital technologies, so you could have digitally related knowledge, digitally related pedagogic knowledge, and digitally related pedagogic and content knowledge, DPAC. So I'm getting close to the end of the presentation, but I mentioned about that at the beginning in education 1 with the short video of my daughter, the stress was on knowledge. If you know about Bloom is an educational scientist that created the taxonomy of Bloom, and there are 6 levels in terms of learning. So the first 2, the lower ones, are knowledge and understanding, comprehension, understanding and comprehension, and that's where we were focused now, before, and now we are more focused on application of knowledge, synthesis and evaluation and creation of knowledge. So what we need to look at it, especially from educators and professors, is what the learner should know and be able to do in order to have also these 21st century skills. So they need to, the way we design the classroom and, the class activities and the learning process should be to create challenges to the student, to anticipate scenarios, to align with these priorities, to favor the decision making of the students in their own learning, flexibility and self-learning. And then what I see, and as a trend, what we are seeing in the class activities, in that there is an increased number of presentations, increased number of guest speeches. So, for example, in engineering, there will be many lecturers from industry. Do you have that as well here? They invite people from industry? Yes? So I think that's a trend. Also industry visits, so it will be not always in the classrooms, but also you are going to see workplace and you are going to have different type of experiences. You can have executive sessions, situation analysis with case studies. So to get more employable skills and to become more employable. And then to focus very focused studies materials, which many of them, for example, are through case studies or problem-solving assignments. Okay, so this I did it with a professor from Turkey, and it was already also in 2012. But we can see at that time already we saw artificial intelligence on the top of the ubiquitous learning. What we don't see there still is this augmented reality and the extended reality. And now you will have new gadgets. You can even learn with, I saw like glasses. I think Elon Musk was exploring lens or glasses that can be used also for learning. These are the latest e-learning trends that are expected. So artificial intelligence, as I mentioned, personalized learning, extended reality, adaptive learning, gamification, very important. Now I'm also involved in one project on gamification. But there is a risk, as I will explain later. Depends how gamification is used, but it can be positive and can be negative as well. And I think I don't know if this is the last video. This is about how to use artificial intelligence in the classroom. One moment. I need to go here. Okay. 11:10. This one? Yes, but I need to go.
Who was your best professor? Not your favorite, your best. The person you learned something from that's still with you today. Maybe it was something about history that helped you understand the past, or a science experiment that helped you understand how the world worked. And then imagine this morning you discovered that was wrong. This is the quiet risk that is happening across education today. And the reason why is that traditionally we had three tenets of education: the textbook, the teacher, and the libraries. Textbooks were riddled with facts and information and academic review to ensure their accuracy. The teachers have dedicated their lives and their education to the very discipline on what they were teaching us. And then libraries were full of books and evidence and artifacts of our past. These were the core components to education. But the reality is, students and learners today have shifted from those core tenets and over to technology and generative AI. And that's where a core part of their learning is happening today. And one of the challenges with generative AI is that there is no bibliography and there is no accountability. But it is confident, it is instant, it is different in the sense that you don't know what's accurate and what's not. And that's part of the challenge that I think we need to address. What does learning look like when knowledge is actually the question?
So this is a very important point. Yeah, correct? That's a very important point because the challenge is how to use artificial intelligence. Now everybody talks about artificial intelligence. I think there are many of the abstracts that are related to this. Is how to use artificial intelligence in a way that enhances our learning, not that that's the opposite, that hinders our learning. You give assignment. Now you have also tools to identify or quantify even how much percentage of the article that or the essay that the student wrote is copied. That is plagiarism. That is also linked to ethics. You can use artificial intelligence to get some concepts or to get some information. But if students, they just copy and paste, they don't even read what is the result of the use of Gemini or Grok or Perplexity. There are a lot of these tools. If they don't even understand what they are copying, what is the purpose of using artificial intelligence? Just to make our life easier? Maybe, but not the brain. They are not making us more intelligent or smarter. I would say probably the opposite. So I think in terms of investment and revenues, definitely this is for India, for example. The expectation is that by 2035, it will create or generate a revenue of $61 billion. So much more rupees. And this is the threat and the challenge. And this is the last video for today. And I think it's also very important to be aware of. This is from a neuro scientist, and this is the dangers of all the new technologies.
Thank you, guys. My name is Dr. Jared Cooney Horvath. I'm a former teacher turned cognitive neuroscientist who focuses on human learning. And I do not receive funding, nor have I ever, from big tech. So a sad fact our generation has to face is this. Our kids are less cognitively capable than we were at their age. Since we've been standardizing and measuring cognitive development since the late 1800s, every generation has outperformed their parents. And that's exactly what we want. We want sharper kids. And the reason for this largely has been school. Each generation spends more time in school. We use school to develop our cognition. Congratulations, you see your correlation. Until Gen Z. Gen Z is the first generation in modern history to underperform us on basically every cognitive measure we have, from basic attention, to memory, to literacy, to numeracy, to executive functioning, to even general IQ, even though they go to more school than we did. So why? What happened? What happened around 2010 that decoupled schooling from cognitive development? It can't be school. Schools basically look the same. It can't be biology. This hasn't had enough time to change. The answer appears to be the tools we are using within schools to drive that learning. Across 80 countries, as Jean was just saying, if you look at the data, once countries adopt digital technology widely in schools, performance goes down significantly, to the point where kids who use computers about 5 hours per day in school for learning purposes will score over 2/3 of a standard deviation less than kids who rarely or never touch tech at school. And that's across 80 countries. Bring it home to the US. Let's go to the US. We have our NAEP. That's our big data. Take any state, and here's a fun experiment you can try. Take any state NAEP data, compare that to when that state adopted one-to-one technology widely, and watch what happens. The NAEP data will plateau and then start to drop. Now, as Jean said, of course, this is all correlative. What we really want is causative. To get causation, what you need is academic research, and you need mechanisms, explanations for why we're seeing what we're seeing. Luckily, we have academic research stretching back to 1962 that shows the exact same story for 60 years. When tech enters education, learning goes down. In fact, one of the biggest ed psychologists right now, Dylan William out of the UK, recently said, ed tech is a revolution that's been coming for 60 years. And we're gonna have to wait another 60 because it ain't doing anything. Now that's research, but now we need mechanisms. Luckily, over the last about 2 decades, we've been doing a lot of work in what we call the science of learning. How do human beings learn? And we now have the clear understanding of why tech does not work for learning, and it is all biological. It's not that the tech isn't being used well enough, we haven't been trained enough, we need better programs. It's we have evolved biologically to learn from other human beings, not from screens. And screens circumvent that process. I won't go too deeply into the mechanisms, they can get boring, but just know they're there if you want to talk about them. So that leaves us with two options. Option one, when you know something is wrong, do better. So we could just say, hey, mea culpa, get some of this tech out of schools, go back to what we know works, some analog methods, cool. Or two, we could redefine our terms. We could redefine what it means to be an effective learner. I want to end with one quick story here. Think back to your childhood, to your schooling. I guarantee all of us at one point took a test on reading comprehension. And the way it looked is this. Here's a passage of about 750 words. Here are 10 to 12 questions about that passage. Most of them are inferential, not factual. They're asking you to go beyond what you just read to see what you understood. Cool. Last year, the SATs had a reading comprehension section. Here's what it looked like. Here is a single sentence of 75 words. Here is one question, fact-based, about that sentence. Next. Here is another sentence of 75 words. Here is one question about that sentence. Next. Last year, they redefined reading comprehension to mean 54 short sentences with one question about each. That is skimming. That's not reading. Why would we ever do that? Because what do kids do on computers? They skim. So rather than determining what do we want our children to do and gearing education towards that, we are redefining education to better suit the tool. That's not progress, that is surrender. So as we go through our discussion today, there's going to be a lot of talk about smartphones and social media, rightly so. But I'm the voice here to remind you that even in schools, it doesn't matter what the size of the screen is, if it's a phone, if it's a laptop, if it's a desktop, and it doesn't matter who bought it. Is it school sanctioned? Does it have the word education stamped on it? It doesn't matter. All of these things are also going to hurt learning, which in turn are going to hurt our kids' cognitive development, right at the time when we need our kids to be sharper than we are. So thank you guys so much for today. I look forward to talking with y'all. Thank you guys. My name is Dr. Jared.
Yeah, so I don't know if you read or you heard, for example, in Australia, from January 2026, social media is banned to all students, well, to all young population under 16. Mobile phones are forbidden in schools. Nobody can take mobile phones. And this is the government who debated in parliament and decided to do so. I know that is also a trend, although still is, they are not national in Europe. I'm talking about Europe, I don't know about India, but depending on the schools, but more schools are starting banning mobile phones in the classroom because it produces distraction in the students, and also it hinders the learning process. So here the big challenge is how to humanize technology, having the teachers as guides. So the last thought, and maybe that's for the audience to answer, what one trend excites you most for 2030? How do you see the future of the classroom by 2030? Thank you. You can answer. How do you see the future?
So you have to talk from here. The mic is.
Yes, yes. You can distribute it. No, it's for them to answer.
Acha, for them.
Yeah. What excites you? What makes you afraid in terms of use of new technologies?
May I, sir? Sir? Yeah. Sir, it would be difficult to get to the classroom because they don't find the classrooms that engaging. Whatever content the teacher delivers, they feel they already have an access to that. And this would increase day by day. So by 2030, I feel it would be very difficult to bring these students in the classroom.
Yeah, well, on a lighter note, as we know, Facebook is working on metaverse. So probably we may have, a work from, not work from, study from home thing, in where there would be a meeting set up by the teacher, and probably the avatars of the student would be present during the lecture hour. If Facebook really does that, it might be the future. So it could be that could happen.
Yeah, also, for example, I don't know if you heard or you know who is Jordan Peterson. Have you heard about Jordan Peterson? He's a very famous psychologist that is very popular in media. I don't know in India, but at least in the States or in Europe, he's very popular. And he has created just recently um, his academy, his online academy. You pay $400 per year, and you have access to a large number of, it's called immersive lectures. So also using the new technologies, the visuals, but top speakers and top scientists. So just for, I'm not advertising him. I'm not getting any how you call it percentage or anything. It's just to explain the models that are coming that can operate at global level. So this is for anybody, anywhere, at any time. And this, I think, we are going to see more and more. So maybe, as the teacher said, not only that the students will come less to the classroom, but we are going to see more virtual universities and virtual academies. I just wish you a very good continuation of conference, and I hope you get new ideas and you learn new things in this conference. Everybody, yeah, sorry. So I was just wishing you a good continuation of conference. I hope that you have other good speakers and good discussions in the different sessions. And I hope, as I said at the beginning in the ceremony, that you come with a empty cup of tea and that you can leave these 2 days of conference at least with a cup of tea full of tea. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carlos Machado, for enlightening us about challenges for innovation and education towards 2030. Your keynote address was very insightful, that highlighted key challenges, emerging opportunities, and the urgent need for innovation and education to move towards 2030. Thank you very much. Students will be moving towards the next sessions. They will be conducted on the 4th floor and 5th floor, respectively, and the numbers are given to you all where you all are supposed to reach for your presentations and so on and so forth. Right now, we shall have a break. Thank you.